Tonight, Canadian investigators visit the crash site.
As we learn new details about the final moments on board Flight 752. New video appears to show 2 missiles striking the plane. Iran says several people are under arrest.
Why the flu is hitting young people so hard.
Yeah, I'm starting to lose feeling in my toes.
A deep freeze grips the West so cold people were asked to turn down the heat.
It's an innate sense of self-protection that kicks in.
And they fought off Australia's bushfires alone. Now they're calling for change. This is The National. 1 week after Iran shot a passenger jet from the sky, today has been a day of firsts.
The first video evidence Flight 752 was struck by 2 missiles. That terrible detail helps fill in what happened that deadly night. Another first today, Canadian investigators have reached the crash site. They'll also have access to the black box flight data recorders, though it's still unclear how big a role Canadians will play in the investigation. But as Paul Hunter shows us, tonight it's the new video that's proving most revealing. CBC News has not independently verified it, but the New York Times has, and what a tale it tells.
The new video is silent, but what's depicted seems clear. The bright light crossing above the horizon appears to be an Iranian missile targeting the passenger jet that had just taken off last week. Invisible for the moment out in what looks like fog. It takes about 20 seconds to find its target, and then the flash. 10 seconds later, a second missile fired the same way. The plane, evidently still in the air, out there somewhere. This time, the missile strikes more quickly. It's closer, a brighter flash. Now, nearly a minute after that, the plane, still flying clearly in flames, begins a rapid, out-of-control plummet. It's at this point this video seems to pick it up from another angle. Evidently shot on cell phone, the plane now falling from the sky in flames. The world knows what happened next. For days now, Iranians have demonstrated in the capital and beyond, angry over what their country's done. Today, unmoved, even with word Iran has now arrested several people involved with the firing of those missiles. It was an unforgivable error, said Iranian President Hassan Rouhani, adding, "We will punish those responsible for the shootdown." Meanwhile, with Donald Trump's fresh sanctions against Iran in place, the U.S. no longer part of the deal limiting Iran's nuclear capabilities, and Iran in turn no longer abiding by aspects of it, today Britain, France, and Germany triggered a dispute mechanism in the deal aimed at getting Iran back on track, a move Canada supports. But if that effort fails, it threatens the deal altogether. We cannot sit back, said Germany's foreign minister, and watch Iran no longer stick to its commitments. All of it as those protests continue and grow. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.
And in Washington, a different kind of protest. Republicans are bristling at the suggestion by Canada's Prime Minister that U.S. actions contributed to the chain of events ending in that plane crash. Katie Simpson has that story.
These are some of President Trump's closest allies, and they bluntly reject the suggestion his actions escalated tensions in the Middle East.
There's no blame here for America. America stood up once again for freedom.
The Republican House Minority Leader was asked to respond to the Prime Minister's comments on Global News, linking the tensions to the downing of the Ukrainian passenger plane.
I think if there were no tensions, if there was no escalation recently in the region, those Canadians would be right now home with their families.
I actually think he's stating the obvious. The obvious is that this fog of war was created as a result of the escalating tension that was a direct result of the targeting of Qasem Soleimani.
A senior Canadian government source says Trudeau is not pointing a finger, but instead his comments were meant to push all parties involved to de-escalate the conflict. Though frustration remains, Canada did not get advance warning the U.S. plan to kill Iranian General Qasem Soleimani.
Should Canada have been given a heads up?
Well, I think we should try to do so as fast as we could.
This Republican congressman, who served as a brigadier general in the Air Force, says based on his own knowledge and intelligence briefings, it's likely the U.S. had to make a fast decision in targeting Soleimani.
And so we didn't have the ability to do the kind of coordination with our allies ahead of time.
Though some Democrats say Canada was owed advance warning.
We should be working with our allies, and Canada has been historically among the closest of our allies.
Another complication in that relationship between allies is that sources say Canada wants more information about why the U.S. decided to kill General Soleimani. Public justifications from the Trump administration have shifted ever since that drone strike. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Washington.
As tensions escalate around Iran, former Prime Minister Stephen Harper is weighing in, suggesting conditions may be ripe for change in Tehran.
Is there any way through the protests in Iran or the consequences of this that Iran could go on a better trajectory? I think that would be very core to resolving the problems of the Middle East. I think without a change in the nature of the government of Tehran, the Middle East will continue to be in turmoil.
Harper now leads a group that helps elect right-wing governments. He says Middle Eastern powers back his idea. Staying with politics, CBC News has learned who is blamed in an internal Conservative Party report for what went wrong in the last federal election. The report was drafted by former Cabinet Minister John Baird. Sources say it blames the election loss on inexperienced staffers and centralizing campaign control with the campaign manager. It also talks about the problems with the party's platform and candidate screening process. The party will choose its next leader in June.
A 17-year-old has died in Winnipeg from complications related to the flu. This year's season could be particularly dangerous for young people. What's different this winter is that multiple strains are surging at the same time. That means kids are getting hit hard and hit earlier. We are now in peak flu season across the country. As the CBC's Karen Pauls tells us, that Winnipeg high school student I mentioned isn't the only deadly flu-related case in Manitoba. Another young woman in her 20s also died.
She loved to laugh.
Dustin and Joanne Entz were married just 8 months ago. On Sunday, family and friends gathered in church again, but this time to bury her. Her husband is clinging to his faith to help him carry on.
It is confusing, but there is moments of grace.
Joanne had asthma, but Dustin says she was healthy when she caught the flu on New Year's Eve.
She was very weak and very crackly breathing.
They went to the nearest emergency department near Morden, Manitoba. Doctors there had her airlifted to Winnipeg, about 125 kilometers away.
But she was in septic shock and they were unable to do anything.
Dustin says doctors have confirmed his wife died of complications stemming from influenza B.
Flu season seems to be hitting young people particularly hard. In this town alone, up to 25% of the students were home sick before Christmas. Now in Winnipeg, a grade 12 student has died of complications of the flu.
Blaine Rupenthal's family says his heart stopped. They don't know why, but doctors told them it's connected to influenza complications. Students at his high school say he'll be missed. Public health officials are scrambling to deal with a surge of flu patients. Just last week, they activated an emergency flu response plan.
Very unusual year this year, where influenza A, influenza B, and respiratory illnesses have all come at the same time.
And I would frequently tell her that I loved her to the moon and back, and she would respond with, "I am her sun, moon, and stars."
Dustin Entz and his wife had planned to get their flu shot after New Year's. He hopes their story encourages others to get the vaccination. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Morden, Manitoba.
The flu is hitting just about every part of every province and territory. So far this season, there have been more than 12,000 confirmed cases of the flu in Canada. And as always, that's on top of however many go unreported. At least 10 people have died. Now, as Christine Burak tells us, doctors are swamped. They also say they're seeing more patients with pneumonia.
Ticket Y 056, triage 2.
Most people walking into emergency right now are feverish, coughing.
their bodies exhausted by the flu virus.
Is it possible that this year is going to be worse than previous years? Yes, it is.
Doctors have seen a staggering number of patients, including more children than usual for this time of year.
We saw 510 people come through our emergency department and our after-hours kids clinic on that day, so very, very busy.
In one day?
In one 24-hour period, yes, 510.
The flu kills about 3,000 Canadians every year, often young children, the elderly, and those with pre-existing medical conditions.
It's a combination of burden, I think, and complexity.
Infectious disease specialist Dr. Mark Loeb says healthy people typically get sick for about a week and recover from the flu, but the virus takes a toll, weakening the body's ability to fight off other bugs and illnesses.
Why are we concerned about the flu? We're concerned about the flu because of its complications, right? And one of the most important complications is pneumonia. That's typically what leads to death.
Wendy Wilson cracked a rib coughing. What started as a sore throat before Christmas turned into pneumonia by the new year.
When I was taking in breaths, it was like, and I was afraid to walk fast or move too fast because it was like all of a sudden I start coughing and I feel like I can't catch my breath.
The flu virus usually attacks the upper respiratory tract, including the nose, throat, and respiratory tubes. Pneumonia targets the lungs, which is why patients have trouble breathing.
If you're walking around your home and climbing to the top of the stairs is really winding you and you normally would not be winded by that, that's a concern.
Her advice? Get the flu shot. Some protection is always better than none. It can also prevent you from spreading a virus that could land someone in the hospital and cost others their lives. Christine Birak, CBC News, Toronto.
Now, in other health news, vaping giant Juul Labs says it will no longer sell most of its flavored pods in Canada. As of tomorrow, it will halt production of mango, vanilla, fruit, and cucumber varieties, but is not planning to pull existing stock from store shelves. It will also continue to sell tobacco and mint flavored products. The move comes after the United States banned fruit and mint e-cigarette flavors, and as Health Canada considers stricter regulations on the vaping industry to keep younger people from taking up the habit.
Many Western Canadians are also facing a brutal deep freeze this week. The entire province of Alberta remains under an extreme cold warning with wind chills in the -40s. It's not as cold in BC's Lower Mainland, but it's well below zero with some thick snow. And keep in mind, the Lower Mainland is neither used to it nor really equipped for it. Now, Albertans are used to rough winters, but even by their standards, it's mean out there. We thought maybe it was important to send someone outside to see how bad it is. Carolyn Dunn drew the short straw.
A freeze so deep it cracked a rail line in Edmonton today. Albertans are bracing against a work week of extreme weather.
I should have worn thicker socks, that's for sure. Yeah, I'm starting to lose feeling in my toes.
You gotta keep moving. Once you stop, the feet 40 below boots, but it doesn't do you much good if you're not moving.
So how cold is it? Well, cold enough that just about everything freezes within seconds of hitting the air.
Including, it seems, facial hair. Weather Network reporter Kyle Britton has a new cool wardrobe. It's even too cold for penguins. The Calgary Zoo had to cancel their popular penguin walk, and with warnings to keep pets inside, many doggos are bundled up for very short potty breaks. This kind of cold comes with real risks, from icy roads to frostbite. At one point, so many people cranked up the heat at once, the province issued an energy warning. Of course, for those without a home, there is urgent concern.
Thank you so much. Would you like a pair of socks as well?
This Calgary outreach team is swamped providing emergency assistance.
We're over capacity right now, and so, in our shelter and just trying to deal with calls.
Donations of cold weather clothing are pouring in at another shelter, people looking out for each other and waiting it out.
Going to Mexico in February. Otherwise, a day at a time.
I don't mind it that much, actually. I've worked outside all my life.
Everyone else is counting down to the weekend when temperatures are forecast to be a bit closer to seasonal. Carolyn Dunn, CBC News, Calgary.
Sub-zero temperatures have led to record-breaking demand for electricity next door in BC as well, and this might not get better because, as Greg Rasmussen tells us, much of the province is bracing for yet another storm.
Vancouverites know how to handle winter rain, but umbrellas and running shoes are coming up short, taking on this week's wintry blast.
Cold, icy, snowy, very cold for Vancouver.
I've had one slight slip, but I walk like a penguin. Apparently that's how you get over the ice.
The region's busiest highway, the Trans-Canada, was at times a sheet of black ice. Vehicles were in the ditch, commuters and commercial vehicles crawled along. Heavy snow hit Sunday, and many are critical that 2 days later, roads remain treacherous.
Everything that's wet, it's going to freeze. So we had a really severe event, particularly in the eastern Fraser Valley.
Side streets remain an icy mess in many areas. Across the region, crews struggled to get salt on the roads. Even veteran snowplow operators are surprised at the conditions.
I mean, we get snow, of course we get snow. We get ice, of course we get ice. But when it freezes this hard, it's very difficult to keep up to it.
Not a lot of folks out with shorts today, I guess.
For some, the best option was to simply ignore the snow and cold.
Born and raised on the island and just always had shorts. At this point, don't own pants, so just keep wearing shorts. Have a good one.
It's unusual for temperatures to be this low for this long here. And it's not over yet, with warnings about Arctic outflow winds and more snow on the way. Greg Rasmussen, CBC News, Vancouver.
Now, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex will have to get used to Canadian winters after deciding they want to live here part-time. That decision still controversial across the pond.
I would prefer that they were in the UK.
It's a bit of a snub, not only to the family, his family, but also to the British public.
I think if Canada can see some benefits from it, they might actually feel okay about it.
I reckon they'll love it. I reckon Canada will love having them there.
Okay, so getting you up to speed. The Queen gave the plan her blessing yesterday after a family meeting. Meghan, who's in Canada, was going to call in, but reports say she and Harry decided it wasn't necessary. And today, new pictures of her surfaced in some UK papers showing the Duchess boarding a seaplane on Vancouver Island. And now we know where she was headed. Vancouver's downtown East Side Women's Centre posted this photo saying the Duchess dropped by to talk about issues affecting vulnerable women. Now, after all that, is Victoria where the couple may choose to call home? Here's Tanya Fletcher with what royal life could look like.
The bells chime 3 o'clock in Victoria, otherwise known as tea time for some. And in the city named after one queen, the grandson of another could make his home.
If Prince Harry is lonely for a good cup of tea or to see a pack of corgis in the park, probably Victoria is as good a place as any in Canada.
Especially after the Duke and Duchess of Sussex spent their Christmas here, and where Meghan is believed to have been since returning to Canada last week. Their move met with support here.
They're going to be able to live their own lives.
And delight.
I'd hug her. If I'd ask. Yeah. I'd ask first. I'd ask.
Very polite, very Canadian of you.
Thank you.
What would you do?
I'd be excited and hug her also and get a picture.
For others, simply a shrug.
Oh, that's fine. We'll give them lots of space.
And why is that?
Because that's what they want.
This could be a defining moment in the evolution of the Canadian crown.
A defining moment that comes with high expectations from royal watchers.
Even if he's only a part-time royal, that Prince Harry will be there and help us celebrate some of our future milestones a little more readily than a monarch who's in her 90s and living overseas.
It's still not clear where exactly in Canada they'll choose to live or who will cover what costs. Security for the Duke and Duchess is pegged at nearly $2 million a year, and already there's a petition arguing that Canadians should not have to foot the bill. For others, though, the international attention is priceless.
It's been an ongoing story arc, which has been quite an interesting phenomenon.
The tourism industry certainly welcomes the publicity, as long as it's classy.
Capitalizing on royals in general is just tacky, and we want to stay away from that.
Many decisions still to be made, but until details are finalized, what would be your message to them?
I think anybody is very welcome in our community.
Tanya Fletcher, CBC News, Victoria.
Now, clearly, there are still plenty of questions about what exactly Harry and Meghan's new life in Canada would look like. So on Friday, we're convening our special panel of royal and constitutional experts. If you've got questions, send them our way at thenational@cbc.ca or send us a message on Instagram @CBC The National.
More news ahead on The National, including how average citizens revealed what Iran tried to hide. Moment by moment, we look at the hours and minutes surrounding the downing of Flight 752.
Fighting the flames and fighting for change.
It's a global problem. Don't think that this is just Australia.
The increasingly loud calls for a shift in climate policy as Australia burns.
And a new report says the gender wage gap starts early. Why? We're back in 2. Welcome back. Just because a man and woman graduate university with the same degree and enter the same field doesn't mean, we all know this, that they'll be making the same money down the road. But a new study shows just how big the gender pay gap is in Canada and how quickly it comes into play. We asked Alison Northcott to find out why.
In the male-dominated tech sector, Cassie L. Rayom says the playing field isn't always even for women.
People get jobs and are happy with it, but once you're in the field, you talk with your colleagues, you realize the difference, you realize the missed opportunities.
It's not just in technology. A new report looked at how much money Canadian post-secondary graduates in 11 fields of study earn. It found women, on average, earn 12% less than men 1 year after graduation. After 5 years, that gap widens to 25%.
The difference between men and women clearly starts immediately, grows over time, and I think becomes more widespread than I think we had anticipated.
The report looked at how much graduates earned each year, but did not look at their specific jobs or how many hours they worked.
We are asking women to spend every single day fighting for what's theirs.
Liesl Barrel is part of a group that aims to empower women in technology, including building up negotiating skills to help them get ahead.
There's a problem on the employer side with bias, and there's a problem on the applicant side with feeling like you have the tools to negotiate well for yourself.
Experts say the report backs up other studies showing a persistent wage gap in Canada.
There's also a systemic element about this, that we see that women tend to have more precarious work. They tend to be isolated in what people have called pink ghettos, where the work is mostly done by women and the pay tends to go down.
She says it's disheartening to see women are affected as soon as their careers begin, and says governments need better policies to improve women's working conditions and access to steady jobs in order to change that. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
Tonight on The National. This shocking video making the rounds on social media has sparked the interest of police in Ontario. Now, it's a short clip. It appears to show a large truck pushing a car sideways down Highway 401. The video does not show what happened in the lead up to the incident, but provincial police certainly now asking for the public's help to track down the drivers.
Like bits of water were coming down. I thought it was rainbow. When I looked up, it was gasoline. Everybody started running.
School children in Los Angeles were doused with jet fuel today. A Delta Airlines jet dumped the fuel as it was returning to LAX for an emergency landing, but it ended up dropping it on schools, cars, and people below. Officials say a total of 60 patients were treated, but no one was transported to hospital.
He was a complicated man, but a man of good humor and a man who did right by us. And now is when we get to do right by him.
Mourners gathered today in St. John's to pay their respects to a political icon of Newfoundland and Labrador. John Crosbie will rest in state over the next 2 days. It's a rare honor in the province, not seen since former Premier Joey Smallwood died in 1991. Crosbie served as Newfoundland and Labrador's Lieutenant Governor after decades in provincial and federal politics. A state funeral will be held on Thursday.
More news ahead on The National, including the story of the second missile. Minute by minute, what we know about the downing of Flight 752.
And
they're such a large corporation. How dare they make it so difficult to make such a small impact?
fixing Canada's coffee cup addiction, one reusable mug at a time. Canadians love their coffee, but one problem is they're getting it to go, and most disposable cups cannot be recycled, so they get sent to landfills. Now, some municipalities like Vancouver are cracking down, and some cafes and restaurants are finding their own solutions too. But as Jacqueline Hansen explains, the fast food industry is having a hard time kicking the habit.
I pretty much always have it in my backpack. Yeah,
Brenna Green was stunned when McDonald's refused to fill her reusable mug.
They told me that it was a contamination issue, and I just thought that that was so ridiculous.
Green and her colleague went back to capture it on camera and posted the video online in hopes some bad publicity would force McDonald's to change its policy.
They're such a large corporation. How dare they make it so difficult to make such a small impact?
Plastic-lined disposable cups have generated concern because most Canadian recycling programs don't accept them.
It seems simple, but the cup is really challenging.
McDonald's and others have invested in a competition to find a greener cup. Almost a year ago, 12 winners were selected.
It needed to meet certain performance criteria. It has to hold hot and cold liquids. It has to meet certain environmental criteria in terms of sourcing, and it needs to be recoverable in recycling or composting systems.
Prototypes are being tested and may be ready for market later this year, but some environmentalists say reusable cups are still better for the environment.
Shifting to something that's compostable or made of another material is just shifting our disposable problem from one type of material to another. It's not actually solving it.
Many coffee shops, including Starbucks and Tim Hortons, already accept reusable mugs and offer customers a small discount if they use them. But Tim Hortons says few people do it.
It's low single digits. It's in line, to be quite frankly, with the industry. So it's not where we want it to be.
This year, the company plans to give out millions of reusable cups for free and introduce new ways to reward people for using them.
If anyone's going to be able to change guest behavior in terms of going with reusable cups and taking a more sustainable angle, it's going to be us.
As for McDonald's, it is now bowing to public pressure. Today, it tells us it is changing its policy. All of its restaurants across the country will allow reusable mugs by the end of February. A small win for the environmentally conscious, but only a win for the environment if customers take them up on the option. Jacqueline Hansen, CBC News, Toronto.
And still ahead on the national, calls for government action on climate change as fires rage in Australia.
Plus, the worldwide movement to help the millions of animals affected by the fires. Thousands of crafters making little pouches for baby animals who lost their mothers. That's ahead. 1 week ago tonight, we were all just learning that a plane had crashed coming out of Tehran. Now we know so much more, and much of that information was deduced by ordinary citizens around the world determined to get to the truth. In the early hours of Wednesday, January 8th, Iran was ready for a fight. 2:15 a.m. Tehran time, it launched several barrages of missiles, nearly 2 hours worth, hitting 2 coalition bases in Iraq. Midway through the strikes at 3:15 a.m., the Federal Aviation Administration issued what's called a notice to airmen, banning all American carriers from flying over Iran, citing potential for miscalculation. Almost immediately, 3 British Airways flights start to divert midair. An Air Canada flight from Toronto to Dubai shifts as well, but no airlines other than the American-affiliated ones are obliged to adhere to the notice. It's not clear whether the Ukrainian airline would have even seen it. It was up to Iran to close the airspace entirely. It didn't, a point Ukrainian authorities are making forcefully.
They should have closed their airspace because they had suspicion that something could interfere with the safety.
10 flights took off between midnight and 6 a.m. Tehran time, all of them effectively on schedule, all taking the prescribed route. The only flight out of Tehran delayed at all and noticeably off schedule was Flight 752. Supposed to leave at 5:15, we now know it departed at 6:12. Delayed, the airline says, while luggage was offloaded for 2 passengers who didn't make it. Does the delay have significance? We don't know yet. For nearly 3 minutes, the plane pings a location every few seconds. At 6:14:57, 3 separate ground radar stations lose the signal. This is now known as the moment a missile hit the plane, disrupting its instruments. In the days since the downing, we've all seen videos emerge of that moment from several angles. What they show is that for nearly 3 minutes, that stricken plane is still in the sky before falling, shattered to earth. 6:18 a.m. Tehran time, it's down. Giancarlo Fiorella was in Toronto and not sleeping. He's a visual investigator with Bellingcat, an open-source collective of investigators around the world. He saw the tweets about the crash and the immediate report from Iran of a technical error and got out of bed.
Just by searching the flight number, you get data for that flight. I also took a look at the speed and altitude graph that this website provides.
He saw how the data just drastically ends for Flight 752 and immediately compared it with a Beck Air flight a few weeks ago that had legitimate engine failure.
You can see here the graph is very different. The altitude, the speed, you can tell that something sort of happened here.
So while the Iranians were immediately saying a technical failure, the first thing you looked at, the evidence suggested likely not the case.
And also the speed with which they made that determination was suspect.
So the first lie was exposed within minutes. By about 9 a.m. Tehran time, more social media users started bravely sending in images. And all around the world, in bedrooms and living rooms, people started geolocating, identifying where it had happened and what stories the debris was telling.
We saw these 2 images here, and people started to notice that there were what looked to be puncture sort of entry points in this part of the airplane that some people said, well, that could be indicative of like shrapnel from a missile. At this point, though, it was way too early to be jumping to those conclusions.
Within hours, 2 more crucial images emerged from users claiming to be in Iran. Different perspectives on what seems to be parts of a Tor missile, which Iran uses. Everything changed with the videos. The mathematically minded independently went to work studying them, the angles, the landmarks. It got clearer.
And one of my colleagues created a panorama. So in this case, the cues that we found were a block of buildings, right? There's something like light poles here. And also, we saw something like a construction site.
Because information is power, they started a thorough library. Nearly 200 visuals collected and archived because some have already started to disappear online. Average citizens were on their way to exposing the truth, including, crucially, where the missile might have come from.
And if you wait a couple seconds, you see the flash of the explosion. That's a missile detonating in the air.
That goes straight up.
Yes, it appears to do so, right? So based on a bunch of factors that we can figure out, including an estimated angle at which the missile came out, the velocity of these missiles as they fly through the air, we can get an estimate from where the missile was launched. And so the vantage point was roughly in this direction. You see the missile coming from behind a hill, and Wikimapia tells us that there are military bases in this area.
That doesn't settle anything. Iran making arrests isn't a conclusion either. How could an operator on a missile system mistake an airliner like that? Who gave the orders? Why were so many pointing cameras at the sky at that moment?
People in Iran in this particular area would have been trying to go to sleep. They would have heard an explosion. They would have run outside with their cameras, pointed it sort of in the direction that maybe they thought they heard it from, and what they captured was the second missile.
That there was a second missile was just a theory until a video emerged today, seeming to show two missiles fired about 30 seconds apart.
So the Iranian government can either choose to hand over the black box or not, can bulldoze a site or not, but it sounds like the truth is going to find its way out there anyway.
Yeah, that's what we hoped, and that's why precisely why we do this sort of work. We want to preserve digital evidence in the event that some powerful actor decides that they're not going to tell us what happened, that they're not going to be truthful.
Investigators, including Canadians, are now on the ground. The work ahead is hard, but there is a bit of a head start, thanks to those who got up in the middle of that terrible night 1 week ago. Today, there were reports that Iranian authorities arrested the person who captured a video showing Flight 752 being hit by a missile, but those reports are false. That video was sent to an Iranian activist in London, who was the very first person to post it to social media. We had questions for him and spoke with him earlier today. Narman Garib joins us from London. You're the person who first posted some of the videos we saw out of Iran. I'm curious, why was that video sent to you?
Basically, I launched a Telegram channel on 8th of January, and I'm asking people actually if they saw something, they can send us over, and I can put on the Telegram channel for anyone, any researchers, so they can have all of the material in one place.
So there were some reports, Narman, that the person who shot that video and perhaps some of the others was arrested. What can you tell us about that?
That person is not arrested. I talked to him this morning.
Do you have any reason to believe that people are being sufficiently harassed on the ground that they're now afraid?
Yes, I know some people. One of my jobs is actually I'm helping the journalists and activists on the ground in Iran. So I'm securing the emails and I'm helping them to actually they have a safety online. So I know many activists they've been arrested in Iran, and they haven't arrested my source yet.
Narman, you posted something suggesting you want something from the Canadian government. What is that?
Yes, I'm expecting the Canadian government to not give up, and they are asking Iranian government for justice, and I'm asking the Canadian government to seeking for that justice for their own citizen. Justin Trudeau shouldn't give up, and the world and Iran is watching.
Okay, thank you very much, Narman.
And next on The National, calling for change in Australia.
We can't just pretend that someone else is going to fix this for us. We can't sit here thinking that it will go away.
This couple fought off the flames and now they want action. Their story next.
within 15 minutes, the forest was burning so actively that we couldn't go in there. We had to pull out of there.
That's 22-year-old Manitoba firefighter Matt Woolman, just one of the Canadians helping with Australia's devastating bushfires. He was in the country on holiday when he got a look at the situation, canceled his plans, and signed up. Ottawa announced today that 69 more firefighters will join him, and they'll have their work cut out for them by the 200 fires that continue to burn. And they are spewing toxic smoke, choking Melbourne, where the Australian Open is underway. Slovenian tennis star Dalila Jakupovic actually collapsed in a coughing fit during her qualifying match today. Still, the battle goes on, and a grateful nation continues to honor those on the front lines. Now, amid the devastation are pockets that survived the flames. David Common met some determined farmers who saved their own home, and now they want action.
Australia looks apocalyptic. Fires burning hotter, advancing faster, moving more erratically. Facing these changes, many people who rely on the land are pointing to climate change as a driving force of the fires.
What we've seen this year is just far and above anything anybody was really expecting, I think. The whole east coast of Australia is on fire, and not just on fire, but with huge, terrifying infernos. Yeah, that's not normal.
This is looking down Yankees Gap Road, so Indian...
When the sky darkened and the horizon turned orange, Nick and Annabelle and their son-in-law were alone in trying to stop the fire from consuming their home, Mill Farm, their paradise, a place they'd moved to because of its reputation for being lush and wet, suddenly facing extermination by a wall of flames.
Look, it's not so much as thinking at that point, it's reacting. It's an innate sense of self-protection that kicks in.
So this is your fire truck?
Yep.
This is your fire gear?
That's it.
Helmet?
Yep, that's a helmet, and eye protection is really...
No firefighters, just them and what they'd prepared. And it worked, but only just, stopping the flames threatening their hobby farm. Their neighbors weren't so lucky. Exhausted as they were by the end of it, they know the threat is only getting bigger.
It's a tragedy beyond the scale that we hoped we'd ever see. But I really hope people wake up, because we can't just pretend that someone else is going to fix this for us. We can't sit here thinking that it will go away. We're seeing the fruits of our labour. We're seeing the damage that we've created.
It's a global problem. Don't think that this is just Australia.
That global problem is climate change. And while it may not have ignited Australia's fires, it has worsened them.
Oof. Somebody didn't get their car out in time.
Up the road from Mill Farm, we drive through 200 smoke-choked kilometers that have been burned past dozens of razed homes, struck by just how vast this season's fires have been and how little time people have had to react.
It's arbitrary, the fire. You keep seeing evidence of that. This place knocked out, but the places across the street are okay. All the result of where embers fall. Then there is the speed. When the fire hit, the people in this home were doing their laundry. It's still sitting on the line.
Australia is hotter now than it's ever been. Drier too. The whole island becoming ever more conducive to monster bushfires.
I reckon they'll find the creek pretty quick, actually.
Nick and Annabelle live at Mill Farm with their daughter's family, Tiffany, her husband, and her son, George. And she is deeply worried about the future he faces.
I think that our politicians, I think they're scared. They're in a comfortable position at the moment. And I don't think that they quite care about the land because they're not living on it. I think they're getting a lot of money and power from the way they're doing things at the moment. And I don't think it's politicians now. I think it's 40 years of inaction. It's 40 years of denying what's going on.
So what if this isn't enough? What if this isn't the thing that prompts the action you're suggesting is needed?
Then we're just going to keep seeing more and more of these events. It's a bit of a snowball effect, and it's scary. And especially when you have a young child or you are starting a family, it's very scary.
For George's dad, Pat Crawley-Bacon, the fires have meant leaving home once it was saved, to try to save others in a battle on the home front with Australia's army.
If everyone's doing their part, we'll get through this quicker. We've been running supply drops to isolated communities, bringing them food and goods that they haven't had for up to 10 days. And now we're heading out for some tree assessments for some complicated felling operations.
Pat is restricted from speaking his mind, but it doesn't mean he doesn't have opinions.
You know, as far as the government, we'll see how the next elections go. That's all I can say about that.
It's time for the government to wake up.
Others are openly calling for change, say their environmental future depends on it.
You know, hopefully now that the country is burning, it's a bad way for it to happen, but hopefully people start to take notice, people who can actually make some change.
Weekly climate action protests in Australia target the Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, a Donald Trump-like character. That government has resisted substantial change, protecting the country's rich coal export industry, the world's largest.
It's going to be George's first little dress-up suit for when he goes to preschool one day. And
At Mill Farm, George will need to grow into this costume. But as fires continue to worsen and act erratically, cause more damage, the costume may also be a prophecy of his future. David Common, CBC News, Bamboka, Australia.
Now, it's easy to feel helpless in the face of what's happening in Australia right now.
But next in our moment, one Canadian doing something small to help.
Hey, I'm a crocheter and I'm saving the world, you know?
We're back right after this. For months, the world has been watching Australia burn, horrified, sad, and now jumping into action. The mission to help some of the injured survivors of those wildfires, the animals who ran from the flames but didn't really escape them entirely. Enter the Crafters, an Australian group called out for people to help make wraps and blankets for injured animals, from joey pouches to koala mitts, even bat wraps. Well, Canadians answered in droves, and tonight, that's our moment.
So I'm an avid crocheter. I have a handmade business and I wanted to help. Australia has been asking for the joey pouches, the bat wraps, the bird nests. When would you ever be able to make something for a kangaroo? So everybody's making something that they feel connected to. Now the talk is on these groups is, who can we help next? This seems to be growing into a worldwide international movement. It just takes one person for change to be created. As a crocheter and a knitter, I've always been told, oh, that's for grannies, or oh, you're too young for that. It's neat to be like, hey, I'm a crocheter and I'm saving the world, you know?
Okay, I don't know about saving the world, but it certainly speaks to the impulse that when something terrible happens, we all watch and want to do something and have no idea what to do. And sometimes all you need is a little bit of a nudge, and people can pour all that energy into something constructive.
No, clearly where there's a will to help, there is a way, right? And even that is just a small slice of the way people are helping. I mean, donating their talents, clearly, but donating other goods as well, donating money, donating their firefighting skill.
Everybody wants to do something.
Yeah, it's really something. That's The National for this January 14th. Have a great night.
Good night.